Cincinnati Bengals fans, NFL draft nerds, welcome in. It is time for our Bengals 7-round mock draft, our first Bengals mock draft of the offseason. Excited to get into it. If you're a fan of the NFL draft, it is all draft all the time here at Rogue Football. Hit that like and subscribe button. So the Bengals have $68 million in cap space according to overthecap.com, but they have a $26 million T. Higgins franchise tag. They also have potentially a Jamar Chase deal. You got a lot of things to figure out with your top two wideouts, but I think what the Bengals are ultimately going to settle on is keeping them both around for the long term. I think that that's what Joe Burrow wants. I think that that's a proven way to have instant offense in this league with these two guys, absolute studs. I don't think you let either of them out of the building. I think that's the path that they will take. So that's going to eat up some of your cap space, but you're still going to have plenty of money to work with, plenty of cap space to work with. And hopefully for the Bengals, they're willing to kind of leverage some cash to help out with their cap, right? Because they do have some needs. I think, after releasing Kappa, they have clear needs at guard. I think you could upgrade your other guard spot as well. I think you could add 2 guards this offseason. Interior defensive line. I did like drafting Chris Jenkins last year. Obviously, you need a little bit more long-term to build there. Edge, you have Trey Hendrickson, unbelievable stud. Obviously, Hubbard is a nice role player. You're hoping that Myles Murphy develops. Joseph Osai set to hit free agency. At linebacker, it looks like you're letting one of your guys potentially walk there. At safety, I think that you could certainly upgrade. And now it looks like you'd upgrade nickel too. So there's a lot of different areas the Bengals need to hit. And again, only 6 draft picks. But I think that you can safely say the Bengals will be spending some money in free agency outside of just keeping around T. Higgins and maybe extending Jamar Chase, which Jamar Chase, extending him shouldn't have any impact on the current cap. That's a future situation. We're going to go into 3 big free agent signings before we get to the draft, and we'll run this mock draft live over on the PFF mock draft simulator. Good experience over there. You have the My Picks feature now and no ads, which I absolutely love. So 3 big free agent signings here. Justin Reed. I think that bringing in a safety with his level of athleticism and physicality and instincts would be a major boon for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. There's going to be a number of safeties set to hit free agency, so it doesn't have to be Justin Reed. Obviously, Al Golden coming in as the new defensive coordinator. Whatever you kind of feel like can fit what he wants to do defensively, absolutely, by all means. So I'm on board with that, but go get yourself a good safety. Safety is not a position that breaks the bank in free agency, even if you're paying at the top of the market. It's way under some of the more higher paid positions in the NFL. So I feel comfortable spending there. I also feel comfortable spending at guard a little bit here. Another position that not near the top of the league in terms of market value. And there's going to be a number of guards that you could potentially pursue here. I'm saying Tevin Jenkins, but again, that is not going to be the only option. I just like Tevin Jenkins because I think he's 25 years old, going into his second contract. He's been healthy lately. He has versatility to play either side at guard, and he also played tackle in college. He's physical as all get out. He's also extremely athletic. I just think he's kind of a rare type of free agent where I don't see any red flags. So you got yourself a starting safety and a starting guard. How about going and getting Milton Williams, who I think can be a fire starter on the interior for the Cincinnati Bengals pass rush, really help out Trey Hendrickson, assuming he's still around, which hopefully he will be. This is a team that just needs to have more impactful defenders. I think Justin Reed and Milton Williams both represent the ability to be that for the Bengals. And then you enter the draft, and those won't be the only free agent signings. I think you could potentially sign a nickel. I think you'd sign a couple other guys, right? But those are the 3 big ones we're looking at here today. And then entering the draft, based on what we've done, you can still use more defensive line, another safety, a linebacker, another guard. So we've got some options here for the draft for the Cincinnati Bengals, and we're going to go ahead and get into it again, firing it up over on the PFF mock draft simulator. Bengals with the 17th overall pick here. Wow. Seeing Jihad Campbell all the way up at 11 is something else. I do like Jihad Campbell. He's top 32 for me, but I don't have him at 17 or at 11. I don't think he needs to be the pick at 17 necessarily. He's not my top ranked linebacker. If we were going to go linebacker here, it would be Carson Schwessinger out of UCLA. But we're not going to do that. I think we're going to start looking at interior defensive line. And we have had some big time names come off the board. Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, obviously Mason Graham. Yeah, so IDL came off the board hot and actually mocked Kenneth Grant to the 49ers there earlier. So I would not be at all upset with Derek Harmon in this spot. Look, a guy who I think has the balance to be stout against the run. I love the way he's able to use his length and strength to lock offensive linemen out, peek, stack, shed, right? And be a really effective run defender, but he's also got the explosiveness, the juice. He tested really well at the combine, and you see that on tape, to be an effective pass rusher. So that's a balanced type of guy you can really build around on the interior of the defensive line. I like that a lot. I also like Darius Alexander a ton. Both of those guys I think could be great picks for the Bengals here. But we're not going to just settle on that. We're going to make sure we're doing our due diligence elsewhere. Looking at interior offensive line. Tyler Booker is on the board. You've also got, and Tyler Booker did not test well. I'm surprised he even tested the way he tested. Like, if you're going to test that way, you probably just don't test, honestly. You know what Tyler Booker brings to you. He's going to bring the ability to stonewall defenders, to play smart football, play with length and strength, and not allow anyone in the club, right, on the interior, protecting Joe Burrow, and then create massive amounts of push in the run game as well. He's not this space player, and you don't need him to be. But we do have some options here. If we're looking at guard, I think Josh Simmons is purely a tackle. Gray Zabel would be a hell of a pick. Armand Membu, haven't seen him play guard, but I believe he could do it at a very high level. Kelvin Banks can play guard, I believe, as well. I think there's enough options, though, on the interior to wait, quite frankly. I think now might be the time to strike. Nick Manwari would be an interesting pick if they feel like they can best utilize his skill set, because he is an unbelievable athlete, playmaker. You just don't want him in a situation where he's constantly having to change direction at full speed, because I think that's where you can see potential hiccups. Yeah, for me, I think we're looking at defensive interior, going back to where we started here with this conversation. I think Derek Harmon's an extremely safe pick. I think Darius Alexander has a little higher upside, but both of these guys, I don't think you can go wrong. How about we stick with the Midwest guy, Darius Alexander, 17 overall. Bengals fans, let me know what you think in the comment section below if you've watched Darius Alexander. So Darius Alexander, he is a technical run defender. He is an incredibly explosive athlete. He's got great feet and hands to mirror up and really put offensive linemen in a bind with his athleticism, his hand moves and hand counters. He's a great run defender, great pass rusher, versatility to move across the line. I would love that pick. And then Tyler Booker sitting there at 49 overall. It is possible that he falls due to, again, the lack of athleticism. You saw it with Osiris Torrance. He fell to the Bills in the second round. Tyler Booker, could he fall to the Bengals in the second round? Gosh, that would be amazing. And you're talking about Tyler Booker and Tevin Jenkins, two guys that are going to protect Joe Burrow and create a ton of push in the run game. You got some big boys on the outside at tackle as well. You're starting to look like a behemoth offensive line. Whew, that gets me fired up. That gets me real fired up. Let me tell you. Wow. And now we have some decisions to make, because you see wide receiver here as a need. I don't agree with that. I think T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are back, okay? Bottom line, I do. Now, obviously Jamar's not going anywhere. And T. Higgins has a franchise tag on him, $26 million. If they don't work out a deal, I mean, are you really going to sit out in a Super Bowl window type of year if you're T. Higgins? I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, we're predicting that both of those guys are there next year. Chris Paul Jr. would be a great value to me. I have him as a mid to late second rounder, getting him at 81 as a linebacker who will be a leader, and nicknamed Poopall. Great nickname. I'd be pretty fired up about that at linebacker, but we're going to continue exploring options here, right? Let's see what we've got going on at edge. Nobody that I have rated nearly as highly as Chris Paul Jr. Can look at safety. Kevin Winston, Andrew Makuba. Yeah, I mean, this might be I think Andrew Makuba, what a good football player. And I think he could give you some nickel as well. Give you some versatility to kind of line up and move him around. And he's just such a sound player, and he tested well running that 4.45 40-yard dash. That's a really solid pick, and I love what we're doing here with the spine of this team on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And yeah, we might have sacrificed getting Chris Paul, but I have Andrew Makuba just rated a little bit higher, so that's the direction we went. And looking at linebacker, I think Danny Stutzman is a later round option I could get on board with. Shamar James as well, who did not test very well, but a guy that I thought showed off incredibly well at the Senior Bowl. So where are we going to go now? We have certainly addressed guard. We have addressed defensive line, both of those spots in free agency and in the draft. Let's see what we got at edge now. Folu Oladejo's there. Yeah, Femi Oladejo. Love his game. Converted off-ball linebacker, kicking down to edge. There is an immense amount of physical ability, immense amount of talent, and you actually showed a lot of flashes throughout the season, at the Senior Bowl, and at the Combine. Femi Oladejo, sign me up. Love that. Again, we're trying to make sure that we're locked in here. Let's see if we can find ourselves another Upton Stout on the board. Yeah, all the way. So Upton Stout tested pretty darn well. A smaller guy, about 180 pounds, but you're talking about playing nickel, playing safety. Yes, all the way. Love that. And he's Western Kentucky. I mean, I know Western Kentucky ain't on the border with Cincinnati there, but Kentucky's close. You can get fired up about a Hilltopper, I think. 194, final pick. Where are we going to go with this one? We're just going to try to find our best value that we possibly can. I think Shamar James would be a good value here. I like their running back room a lot, but there's obviously always value at running back in the 7th round. Montrell Johnson blew me away with his testing. LaQuint Allen, I don't think he'll be there in the 7th round. DK, that's a guy who can get downfield. Joe Burrow can find him deep down the field. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm a big Ricky White fan too, and Ty Felton. Oh man, Ty Felton? Really? He's got some length and some real juice. 4.37. There's going to be some receivers there late that people can get fired up about. I don't know where we go here. I feel like we've done a great job filling some holes. We take that swing on Shamar James. Yeah, I think we do. I think Shamar James is an instinctive player, comes downhill extremely well, and actually has shown the ability to cover backs out of the backfield a little bit. So Shamar James, take a swing to pair with Logan Wilson. And yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Bottom 13 of Bengals drafts, 13% of Bengals drafts per PFF. I'm not worried about what PFF thinks. I just appreciate their product overall. We have massively upgraded the trenches. And as we can see from the Philadelphia Eagles, Trench play is absolutely critical. And I know it says 2 safeties here. Upton Stout, we're really projecting more as a corner. Andrew Makuba more as a safety, but both of those guys do have versatility for you. I think you're massively upgrading your secondary. I love the upside of Femi Oladejo here. And again, I'm not out on Miles Murphy, but he's got to show something a little bit more in year 3, and then Shamar James in the 6th round here as a potential starting linebacker. I think he has the ability to become that. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, Bengals fans. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.